Thanks for staying with us. Nigerian Customs Service continue to wage war against non-payment of custom duties in all the formations in the country. Also on customs report, the Federal Operation Unit, Zone B, seized drugs worth billions of naira. Plus, the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service continue to speak with members of the National Assembly on how the operation of the Nigerian Customs Service is helping to generate more revenue. I am Egiseme Edine. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has continued to speak with members of the National Assembly on the working of the Nigerian Customs Service all over the country. He said that the customs will continue to meet the revenue target as approved by government.
For tax evasion and economic sabotage, thus high level of this relationship must be deliberately structured in order to broaden our tax collectivity. Page 8, Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators. 2022 expected income. The service proposed a budget expenditure of 369.14 billion for the year 2022, which will be sourced from the following sources. First is the 7% cost of collection for the year 2022. We expect to reach 151.84 billion. Two, 60% CISS granted by Mr. President, we expect to reach 60.12 billion. And 2% share of the NCS VAT collection, there we expect to generate 14.94 billion. And then the retained income for the year 2021 to roll over to 2022 is 114.39 billion. And the share of the excess of the 2021 budget, which of course we couldn't have made any effort of spending it because it was not budgeted, as a result of the of exceeding the target, we were able to get this amount also added to our own collection. The total sum, therefore, distinguished chair, is 369.14 billion. The expected income will be utilized as follows. First, personnel cost. We expect, if everything goes well, to expend 108.85%, 85 billion, or 29.49% of the budget on personnel cost. Then overhead cost. We expect to spend 45.89 billion, or 12.43 billion of the entire budget. Capital cost. The total cost here is almost all the bulk of our money will go on capital expenditure. And here, this is one of the few budgets that is I think nationwide, that you find out that much money is put in capital instead of overhead and personnel costs. So here Mr. Chairman, by the grace of God, expect to spend 214.30 billion, which is 58.08% of the total budget of 369.04 billion. Major highlights of the proposed budget expenditure. Personnel cost for 2022. The nominal role of 15,004 personnel and 3,200 expected recruitment of cadets are used in estimating the personnel cost of 108.85 billion, which comprises of 86.50 billion is an allocation for personnel salaries and allowances. 7.73 billion is provision for employers' contribution under the National Pension Scheme. 3.93 billion is a provision for employers' contribution to National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS.
According to him, the customs will always continue to obey laws on the importation of consignment into the country.
Start with item 2 there, which is the review of the 2021 approved budget performance. Revenue performance of 2021 budget. The approved revenue target for the year 2021 stood at 1.679 trillion. The service collected a total revenue of 1.716 trillion for the period of January to December 2021. When compared to the approved revenue target of the same period, January to December 2020, the service surpassed its target by 504.34 billion, or 41.63%. The service also collected the sum of 525.06 billion as value-added tax on imports from January to December 2021, thereby bringing the total collection for the year 2021 to 2.241 trillion for the period under review. Page 3. Most importantly, the above remarkable performance was recorded amidst the following militating factors. As usual, as always, we continue to state this because they are part of the militating factors against what we believe would enhance the collection of revenue and maximizing our collection. First among them is the standing government, the deliberate trade and economic policies, monetary both and physical, such as the restriction of 43 items from accessing forex at official window. While we are not saying we're not against it, and I'm sure the wisdom behind this is good enough, but it is one of those things that has reduced the amount that we would have collected. 2, the non-functional scanners at the various customs scanning sites. This factor has adversely affected the service's ability to carry out effective examination for selective consignment, and the chairman made mention of this in his opening remarks. 3, only 2 commodities, cigarette and alcoholic beverages, were under excise control within the period under review. So we are yet to get the directive to start collecting the 10% on carbonated drink, and also we are yet to come to terms of who is going to collect the telecommunication excise. That is still under process, and it is our hope that before the end of the first quarter of this year, we will precisely get go ahead to start collecting, because every day that passes by, we are losing revenue.
The Deputy Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service in charge of excise has officially commissioned a custom office within the Lagos Free Trade Zone in Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. The exercise was commissioned by the DCG on behalf of the CG of Nigerian Customs Service.
By the powers vested on me by the Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ibrahim Ali, retired and not tired, I hereby call this step to inaugurate the Customs Area Command Free Trade Zone, Lagos Axis. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
The DCG in her speech has this to say.
Because, Prof said it, many people do not understand the meaning of free trade zones, including me at a point. It's a phrase that was alien to us, but now we are beginning to understand it. And it is because people don't understand what it means and what it stands for, a lot of myths are just going round and round. People say a lot of things they don't understand, including that there are massive smuggling going on. That was why I came here some time ago with my 2IC to see things for ourselves, and we didn't see anything. So after that, we went for a stakeholders engagement, and I remember I told them that the problem we are having about the free zone is that of misunderstanding. I begged every government agency that works in the free zone, even the ones that do not work in the free zone, to please read up on each other's, when I say each other, I mean like police, read up on customs procedure. Customs, read up on police procedure. Immigration procedures. DSS, if you can see them, read up on them. So that you will understand what they stand for in a free trade zone. When you do that, you will know what is what. You will no longer be telling stories. So, no knowledge is lost.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in charge of Tinkan Customs Command has said that VIN violation is helping the Nigerian Customs Service to fight against fraud and generate revenue for the government, so that the export revenue has increased to 73%. The command recorded an outward throughput in export cargo to 138,000 metric tons compared to over 100 metric tons in 2021.
By the Federal Ministry of Finance on the 1st of March 2022. The major highlights of the 2022 fiscal policy measures include the introduction of excise duty on non-alcoholic beverages, cigarettes, and tobacco products, as well as telecommunication services. There was also the utilization of two chapters 98 and 99 initially reserved by the WCO for contracting parties. These chapters will now accommodate imports made by bona fide assemblers and manufacturers who use these products as input in critical sectors of the economy. However, access to these chapters require a verification procedure from the Federal Ministry of Finance through the Customs Headquarters. Initially, goods imported into Nigeria were prohibited from exportation. However, the new fiscal policy allows for goods imported into Nigeria to be exported subject to the payment of 2.5% of the current market value of the item being exported. Implementation of VIN valuation service. The operational process of Nigerian Customs Service in the year under review strongly aligned with the theme for the 2022 International Customs Day, which is scaling up customs digital transformation by embracing a data culture and building a data ecosystem. This is evident through the implementation of VIN valuation service, a service that depends solely on the information stored on customs and third-party database to determine the value of all imported vehicles for the purpose of determining customs duty. I must emphasize this. We are not using benchmark values. We're using transaction values as embedded in the valuation, ACV valuation codes.
It speaks more on revenue generation in the port.
Represent an increase of 16% from the 66,294,613,421 naira only, recorded in the fiscal year 2022. We commend the management of the Nigerian Ports Authority for their seamless collaboration with the command in facilitating the clearance process of export-related cargo at Tinkan Island Port Command. Trade facilitation and engagement. In the area of trade facilitation, the command continues to provide a conducive environment for trade through continuous engagement and collaboration with relevant stakeholders, regulatory agencies of government. Additionally, the dispute settlement structure of the command aligns with the provision of the import duty mechanism outlined in paragraph 8, subparagraph 8 of the import guidelines, procedure and documentation requirements, which allows an importer to take delivery of his cargo in the case of persistent dispute after securing a bank bond to cover the total duty and taxes payable on the item being disputed. We continue to express our appreciation and support and clear sense of direction from the Control General of Custom, Colonel Amir Ibrahim Ali, retired, and the management of the Nigerian Customs Service for their relentless effort towards strengthening the capacity of the service to perform its statutory responsibility in line with international best practices. We also give special recognition to the members of the press for their invaluable.
The Federal Operation Unit Zone B has handed over 124 sacks of cannabis to NDLA in Kaduna. The Customs Area Controller said that the seized drugs were handed over to NDLA so that the drugs will not get to the bandits in the jungle. The Controller has this to say.
The agency, among security agencies, is getting stronger every day. Based on that, through the intelligence, the unit was able to intercept these items as enumerated by the PRO. For clarity, let me set it again. We have intercepted 124 sacks of Indian hemp. This one, they are not tablets, they are sacks. When we go down, you see how massive the items in sacks were. We also have 110 bottles of codeine. Lastly, we have 85 cartons of African Viagra, and part of it was 31 sacks. So these are the items that were arrested. And by this arrest, I consider it very spectacular and important, considering the consequences of it reaching wrong hand. From what I read out, Indian hemp, codeine, and even the Viagra itself, they are items, if taken, can promote all forms of violence, ranging from banditry, terrorism, rape, kidnapping, and so many unwholesome behavior that can cause. So these items, we consider the arrest of it as very important, because when you consider the situation we're in now, I don't think we should allow this to escape in any guise. And more importantly, the items were arrested in a serious bandit-occupied area in Zamfara State. While we got it, we are pretty sure they were making a very beautiful arrangement to evacuate it to the destination. Because if you see the risks our officers took to get these items, you really feel that yes, we have done something very important.
While the NDL official who said the drug also says this on behalf of NDLA in Kaduna.
A commendable effort by you and your men. This single seizure of cannabis, tramadol, and codeine, it has saved society from great damages. It's an impact that all these banditry activities taking place is being done under influence of hard drugs. Without taking hard drugs, this banditry activity will not take place anyhow. And the effort of the men for the Nigerian Customs Service is highly appreciated, because they took a lot of risks in intercepting this kind of consignment. And now I'm calling upon other security agencies to emulate the justice being done by the Nigerian Customs Service by arresting anybody who commit crime and transfer to the relevant authority. The era of say it's not my job, like the controller has said, it's no longer there. So we're all here to fight crime. If you arrest anything to do with drug, hand over to NDLA. Anything to other things, hand over to, so that at least we'll be able to solve our problem. Then I'm calling to the community. Custom, NDLA are not there. These people are there with them. If you see anybody trying to commit this, try to pass information. Don't hide them. When you refuse to pass information to other agencies, you are doing harm to yourself. So please, and we give you assurance, any information you give is confidential. So please, let other community try to see how to give information to other agencies so that at least we solve this problem.
The Kebbi Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has made the seizure of petroleum products and other items worth over 45 million naira within 2 weeks. The controller said that the seizure includes 98 bags of fertilizer, vegetable oil, and 17 bales of second-hand clothing. The controller speaks more on the seizure made within a couple of weeks.
Items that includes, but not limited to, one Toyota Hilux 2021 model, 4,125 liters of PMS, 50 jerrycans of vegetable oil, 17 bales of second-hand clothes, and 98 bags of fertilizer. The duty paid value of the above mentioned items is 45,030,111 naira. And for the avoidance of doubt, vehicles are still restricted to seaports. As at this period, the policy on restriction of importation of vehicles to the seaport is still in force.
The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service Strike Force Zone A has made a seizure of over 7 billion naira within 6 months. The coordinator, a deputy controller of customs, also disclosed that 3 billion naira was collected by the government within the 6 months. Notable among the seized items, according to him, a total of 13 trucks of foreign rice was seized within 6 months. A container of tramadol, including codeine, was also seized by the unit.
We get them every week. We make sure that wherever they are, we nip at them. But we believe at least we have about 4 people that we're prosecuting. We had about 4,000 bags through Dangote. We have about 3 or 2 suspects, which are presently still undergoing investigation. Different level of investigation.
He said that the importation of these smuggled goods into Nigeria is causing problem in the economic advancement of the nation.
I have to stop this. Even though people say times are hard, I don't really think it's that hard that we can't. I mean, we're still better than so many other countries. And things are still better in this country. People should try to be compliant. People should try to comply. Doing the right thing is just the best. Of course, like I said, I told you, 99 days for the thief, 1 day for the owner. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, you'll be caught. The long arm of the law will catch up with you. So it's not good for Nigerians to do all this. At the end of the day, when these things are down, the chips are down, they end up suffering. And they keep going to run here and there, post to pillar, looking for assistance, which is not the best. But let's also do the right thing so that Nigerians can be a clean, a safe, and a good country for everyone.
Within 6 months, the unit recovered 3.1 billion naira through issuance of demand notice. Just before the end of this week's edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where seizures were made by various commands in the country. For me, Egeseme Itinye, thanks for watching.